Welcome to another edition of the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show, presented all season long by Wholesale Supply Group. I'm Andy Morris with Jacob Mason, and of course, the Walker Valley Mustang head football coach, Drew Akins. Coach Akins, it is week 9, McMinn week. How's everything going?
Man, it's been a great week. Obviously, we're just on Monday, but looking back to last week and just how we've responded, 2 tough weeks. I'm really glad with how our team has responded. Been great to be around them. It was a nice little resting week last week. So just being able to get back in the groove of things today, see our guys again, see a lot of energy out of our guys. It was definitely a good start to the week.
Coach, I know Jacob has some stuff for you on the bye week, but before we get to that, let's do a quick recap. 2 weeks ago, Rhea County rivalry game. We took the L in that one, 30-7 against region rival Rhea County Eagles. Kind of talk about your message after that game to the team and where you guys went from there to prepare and lead into this McMinn week.
Yeah, I thought we had honestly, when you look back at the film, that night it was really stressful just because I couldn't get a feel for what we needed to do. I thought, I kind of felt like we were searching all night. But then as I started watching the film and looking what actually happened, you get emotional in those games where you feel like you're not doing anything and the scoreboard's not showing really what you did throughout the game. So when we went back and watched the film, we really saw a lot of positives out of it. I thought our defense played really well in the second half. Only giving up 3 points in the second half against that offense is a big deal. At that point, we had only given up, they had only not scored 30 one time, and it was against Alcoa, and for us to hold them to their season low except for Alcoa, it was good for our defense coming out of halftime and getting those stops. They came right out of halftime, they get the ball, we get a stop immediately. We just couldn't seem to get traction on offense, it didn't feel like. But then when you go back and watch the film, you see that we had 5 explosive plays, which is something that we really harp on. So looking at offensively, we had stuff there. Ryan threw for 250 yards. We had Tucker Owenby have 8 catches out of the backfield. Spencer had 6. Cole had 3. All 3 of those guys had explosive plays in the passing game. I think what we didn't have to complement that was any type of run game. I think we only called 3 runs the whole game. And it just felt like it wasn't a run game. It felt like we were using those flat routes that we threw to Tucker and the flat routes and the bubbles that we threw to Spencer and Cole as our run game.
And you guys had a little bit different look against Rhea County out of the backfield as well.
Yeah, I thought we did too. I think that's kind of where we're going is, we talked as an offensive staff after Cleveland, just said, our normal get lined up offense is not creating anything explosive. So let's go in there and see if we can do some things with motions, with shifts, with formations that can really give some teams problems. And I thought we did a pretty good job of that offensively. What we did, we just didn't consistently do anything. It was one of those things where like I said, we had 250 yards passing on the night. We threw a lot of really good explosive plays, getting, a 1-yard throw that turns into a 22-yard gain. Defensively, they played really well in the second half once we kind of figured out what they were doing. But, I talked about after Cleveland, there wasn't a whole lot of positives from it. This game, when you go back and look at it, there was definitely some positives that we can build off of. We just got to see that offensively, it can't be, big play, mistake. It's got to be big play, and your mistake is a 5-yard play. We just got to gain consistency with that because we play so much better as an offense in front of the sticks. When we're on schedule is what we call it in our staff room. When we're on schedule, it feels like we have a lot more confidence than when we're behind schedule. When we're 2nd and 12, 3rd and 15, that's where we kind of get out of sorts on offense. But if we stay on schedule and we're 2nd and 6, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 4, we feel really comfortable in those. And we just didn't do a good enough job staying in those manageable downs for the entirety of the game. And that's what led to, only being able to score 7 points. I thought the big swing part of that game was halftime. Right before halftime, if we can find a way to score right before halftime, 27-14 going into half, maybe we can gain some momentum. I think when we didn't get that, it kind of felt like we couldn't get caught back up quick enough. But then our defense came out and they made some stops. We've just got to find a way offensively to be more consistent. I think we've shown that, in the last week and a day of practice that we're building towards that. When you lose your most explosive player on offense with Cade Charta, you got to kind of search for some things. And you saw Spencer Jackson in a different position. He wasn't at running back, he was at receiver. And Cole Harbison was moving around. And Tucker Owenby played more running back than he's played all year. I think you're going to see Cam Davis play some more running back, running those power counter schemes that we run. So, when you move people like that mid-season, it maybe takes a week or two to kind of get in a rhythm with it. I think we're starting to see that rhythm kind of take hold, and our guys are not as questioning what their responsibility is as much anymore. They see the call, and they know exactly what they're running, and that's something that time, when you move Spencer to receiver and Tucker to running back and move Cole around in multiple spots, it takes a little time to really feel confident in what you're doing. I think we're starting to see that in practice, and hopefully that trickles into Friday night.
Coach, you talked about not having Cade Charda on your offense. Kind of last week, one thing Jacob and I talked about during our pregame coverage and even during the game and postgame as well is the defense without Eli Denton last week really performed pretty good.
Yeah, especially in the second half. The first half we gave up some big runs, and really they didn't change their scheme. We knew that they had Belly and Trap in their offense, but they had ran like 80% power. And we kind of took their power game away, but off of that we gave up the fullback, the Bellies and the Traps to the fullback. And the fullback had a great night. He's a great little player, but we didn't adjust to that. That's something that I think if Eli's in there, he cleans that up a little bit. But even without Eli, like you said, in the second half, he's still not there, and we did a great job of holding those guys, to 3 points in the second half. I thought we changed our scheme a little in the second half too, and gave our linebackers a little more of a chance to make those plays.
And that's a tough offense too.
It is,
that
man.
wing T
I'll tell you
offense
what,
is very hard to defend.
Yeah, not only wing T, but the way they do it. They're just so tough. And listen, kudos to them for coming in and running that offense as well as they do. We saw it on film how efficient they were at running the ball. But again, we held them to low. I think it was 3 explosive plays that they had against us. We had 5. We just weren't consistent enough offensively to kind of bail our defense out at a couple points. But yeah, I thought our defense played really well, and it shows that, Kyler and Judah, y'all can step up and make plays. You don't have to have Eli there. And I think not having Eli there kind of caught them off guard early because they're so used to Eli making those plays. He's a 3-year starter. So, they expect that guy beside them to be there. So it kind of took them really a half to adjust to, okay, I'm that guy that has to make the play now. And I thought you saw that in the second half, Judah and Kyler start making those plays.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Well, Coach, moving on from Rhea County, we're going to talk about the bye week. You had some time to get healthy. A couple banged up, and guys really even playing through some injuries.
Yeah.
Spencer Jackson's been banged up, but he's been a warrior all year long. Kind of talk about what the bye week meant to you guys, how you prepared, and it couldn't have come at a better time as you're about to take on McMinn County, for the number 2 spot in the region.
Yeah, we were dying for a bye week.
Yeah.
It was those 7 weeks, and not only the 7 weeks. When you look back at our season as a whole, everybody sees the 7-game stretch, and that's a hard stretch for anybody. I don't care whether you're playing, 5A, 3A, or the SEC. Anytime you play 7 straight weeks, it's difficult. Your body starts to break down. Even when you're working out, we work out, 3 times a week, pretty heavy lifting, and even then, your body is going to continue to break down. So bye week couldn't have come at a better time for us. But like you said, we had not only our big injuries with Eli being out and Cade being out, but little banged up injuries. With Spencer, his ankle early on. Deshaun's back has really been giving him some issues these last couple of weeks.
I feel his pain.
Yeah, just all these things just add up, and you get all these nicks and bruises. And what we kind of did was just give our guys a chance to recover. Day really took the week off and just kind of rested his back and made sure that we get him back to where we need him to be to make a run. Spencer looks as healthy as he's been all year. We got news back that Cade's open now to start working his way back into the offense. Eli goes to the doctor tomorrow, and we'll get more information on Eli. So, we're going to get a trickle back in of these guys that we've been missing. But what it did was it gave us a week to say, hey, I know you've been hurt all year. I know that it's something where you've been banged up and you've been playing through it. Let's take this week off. Let's take that heavy lifting off of you, and let's give you a chance to recover. And that's what we did last week. But that said, we went ahead and worked on McMinn. Like you said, it's a big week. There's a lot of implications to this game. So we went ahead and showed our guys on Monday what scheme we were going to be playing against, what they looked like on defense, what they ran on offense. They got some great players offensively. They give you some real problems. athletically. And then defensively, their front seven is just so good. They do a really good job, especially their down linemen, at doing their job, doing what they're coached to do, playing really hard. So that gave us a chance to kind of steal a week on them and really look at how they play, show our guys the scheme that they're in, and then get into what we want to do to attack that. And it goes back to what I was saying last week. When you move those guys around and you don't have time to work that, you're going to have missed assignments and mistakes. Well, hopefully, being able to work them for 2 weeks, you see some of that trickle out because you've been working them for 2 weeks and you've been running the same plays for 2 weeks. We've done a good job, too, offensively, of kind of shrinking our playbook down where our guys don't have a lot of confusion. They know exactly what their job is, and that allows me to kind of attack with what we have. So we used the bye week, I thought, in the best way possible. We took pads off the guys. We did helmets-only practice all 3 days. We really showed scheme. We really repped. We had a ton of reps. I think on Tuesday of last week, I think we got 50 offensive snaps and 46 defensive snaps, even with no pads on. So we did a great job of showing our guys what they're going to get. Now this week, we got to add the physicality back into it. So I thought we had a great plan going into the bye week. I thought our leaders really stepped up. It was something we talked about on Monday. We spent a long time talking to our leadership about what do you want now? You know, we were 4-1. Everything was great. Now you're 4-3. What do you want? How do you want to end this thing? Do you want to end this thing average, or do you want to end this thing with some momentum going in the playoffs? And we really spent a lot of time talking about those things, about what we have to do if you want that 7-3 momentum going to the playoffs, then we better do these things to accomplish that. So we talked to our leadership about what they need to do to kind of take ownership of that leadership and lead us into the playoffs. Hopefully on a 3-game win streak. But it's going to be a tough task. You know, we got this week with McMinn, and then we got 2 good teams after that. So we better make sure that we're doing all the things that we need to do to reach the goals that we've set.
So, Coach, as you said, 4-3 now on the season, but more importantly, 1-1 in the region.
Yeah.
This game has huge implications in the region. If you win this game, you lock up second place in the region and home field advantage for that first round playoff game. Kind of talk about your message to the team and where you stand with that.
Yeah, you know, we don't hide things from our team. We don't hide things from our guys. We make sure our guys know exactly what's at stake. And our guys know that they're guaranteed one more home game. Our seniors are guaranteed to play on this field one more time. That's all they're guaranteed.
Because this is the last home game of the season.
This is the last home game, so you know y'all are going to be celebrated. We're going to have senior night. You know, before the game, we're going to recognize these guys for what they've given our program. But if you want to play here again, then go win this ball game. And it's something that it's not everybody wants that. You know, it's something Jordan Easley and I talked last week, and he came and spoke to our team and just talked about, hey, if you want something, it's not just about wanting it. Everybody wants that. You got to go take those things. And we talked to our team about what it's going to take to go take this game. It's going to be difficult, and it's going to take everybody pulling the same direction, getting all the negativity out of our field house, out of our facility, out of our program, and all of us pulling in the same direction. And I think we've seen that response from our guys. You know, they're really excited about this opportunity. I think we match up a little bit better with McMinn than we did with Ray, especially with Eli out. You know, when you look at matchups, it's definitely a different matchup, and it's something that we probably match up a little better offensively and defensively against McMinn. But we're going to have to match their athletes. We're going to have to match their physicality, because those are 2 things that McMinn does really well. And Coach Cagle's always done a great job of making sure his guys know their responsibility and they do their responsibility. But we haven't hidden the fact that if we win this game, we get to host another game. And that's really exciting. It's something that's a big deal for our program. You know, we haven't hosted a whole lot of playoff games at Walker Valley, and to do that 2 years in a row would be a really big deal. And it's something we really sold to our players.
So with that, we're going to take our first commercial break. This is, once again, Week 9 McMinn Week. This is the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show with head coach Drew Akins, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Walker Valley Football Coaches Show with Walker Valley head football coach Drew Akins. I'm Andy Morris, along here with my good friend Jacob Mason. This is Week 9 McMinn Week, and we're going to dive back into McMinn a little bit, Coach. What can you tell us about the Cherokees coming into Walker Valley here for this big region game?
Well, like we said before, they do a really good job offensively of getting the ball into their athletes' hands. They got a decent-sized offensive line. They're not as big as they were last year, but they're still the same, 5'11", 6 foot, 250, 240-pound kid that's moving people. But they run everything through their quarterback. Number 9, he's a great little athlete. He's played there, started for him every game last year. He's a junior this year. He's a tough little runner. He's very athletic. He throws a pretty good ball, especially when he has time. But he does a great job of getting the ball to his receivers. They have a receiver, number 5, that's a really good player. He is dynamic. He runs post. That's his big thing. You've seen him catch a post pretty much every game. This big, deep post that they just drop back and throw it back to him, and he's speedy enough where he can get behind people. And then they have a number 17 at running back that really plays. He really can pick them up and put them down. So we're going to have to do a great job of leveraging 17, staying on top of 5, and then tackling the quarterback because, like I said, everything they do runs through that quarterback. When they need a yard, they actually put him at running back and hand the ball to him to get him more downhill in the run game. But they run power read, they run buck sweep. It's going to look very similar, honestly, to what we saw at Smith County offensively. They do it from a more spread sets, but it's the same type quarterback, running back run.
Hard-nosed type
hard-nosed type of offense. They're not going to throw it a whole lot, but when they do, you got to make sure you cover their guys because they're going to catch it in space. So they do a really good job of that. Defensively, like I said, their front 7 is outstanding. They got a Sam Backer that I think probably their best player. He's number 32. Really good linebacker. The safety will play the quarterback will play some safety as well. But their down 4 guys are what really stick out on film. Their number 77 plays interior defensive lineman. And he's just got a motor. He just plays really, really hard. And it's somebody that we're going to have to make sure that we take care of throughout the night. He's a very good player. He runs. He chases the ball constantly, even from a defensive tackle position. And they do what they're coached to do. They're going to squeeze when they're supposed to squeeze. They're going to spill. They're going to make sure they handle the box. They love keeping 6 men in the box no matter what, just to make sure they stop the run. They're going to force you to throw the ball. So we're going to rely on guys like Spencer and Cole Harbison and Gibby, Tristan McCann. If we get Cade back in any semblance, we're going to have to rely on those guys to make an impact in the pass game. Try to spread them out of the box to where we can run the football, with Tucker and Ryan and Cam Davis. So Kyler's done a great job. I thought Kyler played really well last week. I know it didn't show up in the stats. And listen, playing great doesn't always show up in the stats. Every catch that Tucker Owenby had last week, every catch that Spencer had last week was because Kyler set the edge for us. Did a great job setting the edge and making sure that we could get to the edge to get outside to throw the ball to those guys.
That's the thing we've seen on a weekly basis Kyler do. Not only that, when plays develop, we see him downfield blocking as well. He does a great job there.
Yeah, he really, I thought last week was the best he's done it too. I think we graded 20 sprint outs, and 18 of them he hit exactly where he was supposed to hit on the defender and allowed us to get outside to make the throws we needed to make. So, like I said, in the end, we're going to have to match their athleticism on offense. 17 and 5 are 2 guys that we've got to key on, and we've got to make sure we tackle the running back. And then offensively, we just got to continue to progress to being more consistent, to doing what we're supposed to do more consistent basis. So if we do that, like I said, we had big plays last week. We had 5 explosive plays. I thought it really showed up, those explosive plays, and us being able to get guys into space. The one that kind of sticks out to me was early on we had a intentional grounding, which I think is the worst rule in high school football. There's no way to get rid of the ball as a quarterback when you're scrambling. I think it's dangerous. It's something I'm going to attack in the offseason. This is a rule change year, so it's a year that I'm going to really try to press for us to be able to make that change to protect the quarterbacks a little better. That's a soapbox.
Spoken like a true quarterback.
We could get on a soapbox about that one. That's one that I've been fighting for that since I was at Ooltewah. But as an assistant, you don't have much of a voice in that. As a head coach, and I have a board member on the Tennessee Football Coaches Association. I kind of have more of a voice to use my voice to make those changes, and hopefully we can get enough people on board with protecting the quarterback on that, because it's a dangerous play, and there's really nothing a quarterback can do when he scrambles out of the pocket other than slide awkwardly with people chasing him, or throw it away and get a penalty, or put the ball in harm's way. That's
And
the only
and you're
choices.
still risking getting hit when you slide.
No doubt. So that's something we're going to attack. Anyways, we got an intentional grounding penalty that put us behind the sticks, and we came right back and threw Spencer out of the backfield up the seam off a play action fake. And just that's something I see that us as coaches are doing a really good job right now of finding ways to attack defenses with our athletes. And now we can kind of start building on it because we've put these guys in these different spots. So I think, offensively, we've got to continue to create explosive plays, but then we got to match with that some consistency in how we do it.
So, Jacob, we got a big night Friday night, right?
Big night. Well, not only with the game, it's a big game for the community as well, not only the region, kind of a border war. A lot of these families, they work together, they go to church together. So not only is that exciting, but senior night, like you said, but also 8th grade night. It's going to be 8th grade night for the Ocoee Colts. A awesome season for that team, went undefeated, a lot of great athletes, and they're going to get recognized at halftime. Kind of talk about them, talk about that night and what that means to you guys.
Yeah, I feel like we've done a great job of building a relationship with Ocoee, not only with the players, but I think our coaching staffs have really done a great job of us going down and coaching their coaches and making sure that those coaches, if they have any questions of us, that we're willing to answer those things. We sit down and talk with them in the off season. We try to give them as much of our scheme as we can just so they know, different menus that they can have. They're really using a lot of our same menus that we are on varsity. They're just using a smaller version of it. So, we've done a great job of building that relationship down there. Coach Morris, what an unbelievable job he and his staff have done this year. Building this thing over the last 3 years into a program that's really had a ton of success and some great athletes come through there. Really proud of how they played this year. I got an opportunity to watch almost every game. I think I missed one or two. But just to watch how they play and the passion they play the game with, I think that was the most fun thing to watch as kind of a guy that just got to go cheer for a team, was just how hard they played and how excited they were and how much they loved playing the game of football. And that I miss that. I miss that age where, even into high school. I know in college it's a job, period, end of discussion, it's a job. In high school, it kind of starts feeling like that sometimes where, hey, we got this set block of time, we lose our summer. Middle school is that time, man, where you just get to enjoy being a football player and to watch their passion of how they play, and for that passion to turn into an 8-0 season and the success that they had throughout the year against some really quality opponents, and really had some wars there with Lake Forest and Cleveland and McCauley. Those teams, they came up and they really had some battles with those teams that went into the third and fourth quarter, and for them to show fight constantly throughout those games was so impressive to watch, and so proud of Coach Morris and his staff and what they've kind of built there, and the program that they've built that kind of has built a program that's a winner. And for them to win all 3 games that we talked about that were really down to the wire was really impressive. Proud of those kids, proud of the staff. Was really fun to watch, and we're excited to celebrate them. So we're going to have that team in. We're going to recognize them at halftime, and we're going to celebrate their year because it's a big deal. Anytime you get to go undefeated, man, you don't have a whole lot of opportunities to do that at any level. So when you do it, it needs to be celebrated, and we're excited to celebrate them.
Coach, I think there's some good karma there with that because Ocoee finished their season with a dominant win over McMinn County.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can match that, man. They did. They went out. I think they scored 58 points that game.
56-18 was the final of that game.
56-18. So what an incredible game by them, and just really the icing on the cake of an incredible year. Just so proud of what they did. I've really built great relationships down there with Mr. Lindbergh and Coach Wilcutt, and obviously Coach Morris and their whole entire staff, and just them welcoming me over the last 3 years, and us being able to welcome them at our facility to play and then welcome them on Friday night. We're real excited about it.
For sure. So, exciting night Friday. You've got senior night. You've got our big region game. It's kind of a cool night. You're celebrating what the seniors have done for your program, and then you're turning around and celebrating the future of your program. So, really cool moment up at Walker Valley this Friday. Join us at 7:30. If you're not in attendance and you'd like to listen to us, you can catch us on 99.1 Sports. So, Coach, we're excited for Friday. Can't wait to call it. Can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too, man. It should be a great crowd. Should be a great atmosphere. And I'm excited to get our kids back on the field.
Sounds good. So pregame coverage, as Jacob said, on Sports 99.1 starting around 6:30. Kickoff at 7:30 here from the MAC against region rival McMinn. Look forward to seeing you guys at the MAC, and if not, tune in to 99.1. Once again, I'm Andy Morris with Jacob Mason and Coach Akins, One Valley.